Hi, everybody. Good morning. Greetings, salutations. Hello. Okay, I've got it right here. Got it right here. You guys, I have an Eden Pure fan. This is
those things are so cool.
I need to get it so you guys can see. There we go. It's a spaceship fan. It's so cool. Like you can't hear it. You know what I mean?
It's really not plugged in, to be fair.
Well, but when it is plugged in, it's really hard to hear it. Like, because mine is usually on the other side of the room, and it heats and it cools and it does all sorts of. It's really, it's kind of R2D2-ish, isn't it?
It totally, and it's bladeless. It is a bladeless
I can stick
heating
my hand
and cooling fan.
Yeah, it's like, see, it's all like solid right there. Anyways, it's really cool.
I don't
you need to get one. You can get it. It's a 360 air fan is what it is. It's really, really cool. It's really nice to have in an office or in an air. It actually blows it's weird how it doesn't blow air, but it blows air. I can't even explain how it does that. But you can feel the air, but you can't see it blowing the air, if that makes any sense. It's pretty cool. So you guys should take advantage of this. Visit EdenPureDeals.com. Use discount code CHICKS360, get $25 off, which is pretty awesome.
And it heats and cools 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Like, that thing is so strong.
I can't think about the heat right now.
Spaceshipy.
Yeah. Just give me
the cooling.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about I put it on cool all the time. You need heat. I don't need heat. But it's nice that you can do both, which is really great.
Yes. Eden, EDEN, puredeals.com, code CHICKS360.
You guys, I have major allergies, so it might have no eye makeup on today. So if I look like I am the crypt keeper, I'm really sorry. I apologize in advance. Seriously. You told me nobody would care, but I'm just putting that out there because people sometimes do. And then you'll see a comment. They'll be like, Daisy looks tired today. I do look tired. I do look tired today, admittedly.
Oh my God, stop.
So anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way. I'm going to move this over a little bit. Okay.
Listen, just so you have an insight into the kinds of things that we talk about pre-show, we were honoring and paying tribute to Ronnie Milsap today for no particular reason.
No, we were. I tell you why. Because I said my eyes look tired today because I'm not going to put any eye makeup on my eyes. And I said, I look kind of tired. I'm going to put on my glasses, which have the shading on them because of the blue light. I don't know if people out there that wear glasses like me who are basically blind, you get that weird tint on your glasses when you get your glasses. And so I said, it looks like, those people back in the 70s, and Mott goes like Ronnie Milsap. And I go,
I don't know where that name came to me.
Oh my God. I loved it. My mom was obsessed with Ronnie Milsap. I'm like, but I think he was blind.
And then I felt bad because I'm not trying to make fun of glasses for the blind.
And then we had a whole conversation about, is Ronnie Milsap still alive? He is.
In fact, 80
years old, lives in North Carolina, you guys. Any day now. Yeah. You guys remember Ronnie? And put your favorite Ronnie Milsap song in the comments. You're not going to get this on any other show.
Just the two songs.
Don't discount his talent. Okay.
And the only reason that I thought he died is because I got him confused with the guy that sings Dreamweaver, which is my family song. and that guy did actually die.
He did. Gary Wright was also a national treasure.
Yes. So
yeah, I loved him. What? Tell us. What?
Gregory said he's still alive, but any day now.
That is not funny.
Oh my God.
That is not funny, you guys. It's not funny. God. You guys.
Oh my God.
Kentucky rain. Smoky Mountain rain keeps on. You guys remember? Oh my God.
Over you. That was my favorite.
So many
I love
car
that.
rides. My parents just subjected me to that crap.
Oh,
you guys remember?
Oh my God.
I just sorry, we're going off on a tangent, but I can't. I mean, I can't.
I was not expecting to start the show crying.
And then my mom is gonna watch us because she watches us late every day, and she'll be like, "Oh my God, I have to listen to him all day," and so she'll be listening to Ronnie Milsap all day today. You're welcome, Mama Alice. Good Lord. Stranger in my house. There's a stranger in my house. I cannot. My God bless Ronnie. Nobody like him, you
God.
guys. Oh God.
There's just
Okay,
no
I'm
getting
sorry.
over him. There is no getting over. Okay, we've got to stop.
We've got to. There's so much to do, you guys. We are a professional get up here. We have got stuff to talk about.
Thank you, Alexandra. Alexandra says, happy first day of fall, y'all. And today is, in fact, the first day of fall.
Is it the first day of fall? I love fall. I'm so excited.
You can't tell.
I have all my fall decorations.
You can't tell in Texas.
Just everybody shut up. It's fall in my mind. I'm going to get some pumpkin spice is what I'm going to do. All up in here.
Oh, my God. Before we get to videos, because we're going to get straight into them because there's so much to get to video wise today. But before we do that, can we just mention really quickly that for this weekend's deep dive, we had a fantastic recording with Philip Patrick yesterday from Birch Gold to talk about like how all of the stuff that's happening in the world right now actually relates down to your own personal wallet and how it impacts you directly. So helpful. That is going to come out on Saturday as our normal deep dives do. And it's just a great reminder. The fact that he chats with us from time to time and kind of breaks things down in just really simple terms for anybody to understand it. It's just so helpful. And it just goes to show how great of an information source and an education source Birch Gold is. They're just better than anybody when it comes to explaining how purchasing or investing in gold or precious metals might be to your benefit. So you can get a free information kit, 100% free, when you text the word chicks to 989898. Text the word chicks to 989898. You're going to get a free information kit from Birch Gold that explains everything to you. And then there's no obligation. Like if you read it and you're like, nah, it's not for me, I don't care. That's fine. You're like under no obligation, but why not just get the information, right? Just arm yourself with the information and then make a informed decision. Again, text the word chicks to 989898.
And if you listen to the deep dive, he has a very delicious accent. Just
very delicious accent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
very delicious. Okay. Indeed. All right, let's talk about illegals really quickly, get that out of the way because it's so infuriating on every level. We talked a lot about that yesterday. The problem continues to worsen and deteriorate. In Eagle Pass, Texas, the independent mayor there is frustrated as well. He should. They're getting like 9,000 people a day and he's fed up. And the worst part is that there's no response from the White House. There's no response from Joe Biden about this. And he's frustrated. To their credit, CNN is finally covering this. Here's Aaron Burnett and that Eagle Pass mayor.
I mean, the sheriff in your county, I know you're an independent. He's a Democrat. He told my colleague Ed Lavandera, who's been in Eagle Pass, as you know, in the past days, that President Biden is to blame for the surge. And he specifically said because he's created the perception that the border is open, because he's more accepting of migrants than Republicans, and that's part of the reason that you're just seeing this surge and flow. Mayor, how do you feel about it when you say that there are no consequences and that is causing more of this? Does the president bear some of the responsibility for the crisis in your city?
I'll be honest with you. I believe 100% he does bear some responsibility for this crisis. I haven't heard from anybody in the administration. The president hasn't put out a statement. The vice president, I haven't heard from anybody. Nobody has bothered to call me, anyone in the city staff saying, hey, this is the federal government. We know what you're going through. We're worried about you. This is our plan of action. Nothing. We're here abandoned. We're on the border. We're asking for help. This is unacceptable. Please just enforce the laws that are on the books.
Yeah.
We're a nation of laws. That's all I ask for, is that it shouldn't be like this. We should be able to enforce laws. If you want to come here, good. Come legally. A lot of people have in the past. It takes a lot of money and years to do it the right way. And it's not fair for those people that now you have thousands of people coming in without one single consequence. It's just not fair.
Mayor Salinas, thank you very much. I appreciate your time tonight.
Absolutely.
For telling us what you're going through there.
Thank you.
It's very uncomfortable for CNN lady, isn't it?
Yeah, she doesn't like it.
And he should have mentioned the fact that they pulled the body of a 3-year-old out of the Rio Grande yesterday. I mean,
where's AOC?
Where's AOC in her white suit crying and getting a photo op? Where are all the celebrities? That's what I'd like to know, because they are just freaking quiet, you guys.
Yeah.
Remember when they were like, oh my God, children in cages. They're in cages. Well, there's a child in the river dead. What do you have to say? That's Biden's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Completely Biden's fault. And if that happened under Trump's watch, you know damn well they'd all be screaming about it.
Yep. Oh yeah, there'd be screaming. She'd be there in her white suit. She'd be taking all the photo ops. But it doesn't matter because this is Biden's deal, and so nobody wants to talk about it. We're just going to keep letting ourselves be invaded, I guess.
Yeah.
And amazingly, they'll continue to say, this is a little bit of a flashback. I don't think they're using this line quite as frequently anymore. But you guys remember, this was just within the last several weeks that this was the continued message you would hear out of this administration.
My testimony that the border is secure.
We have a secure border.
Oh my God.
And that is a priority for any nation, including ours and our administration.
We have taken unprecedented action over the past year and a half to secure our border.
And we have a process in place to manage migrants at the border. We're working to make sure it's safe and orderly and humane.
The border is closed.
We agree that the border is secure.
We're executing a comprehensive strategy to secure our borders.
One of our highest priorities is to ensure that we have a secure border.
Really?
And that is what we are doing.
The border is secure.
Yeah, it's one of her highest priorities when she's not like out there trying to dance like Elaine with rap stars. Yeah. And you guys, listen, when it gets to the point where we get to election time and they start mandating more COVID lockdowns, I will listen to none of these people because of this. They have allowed millions and millions and millions of people to just flood across our border. Do you think that they check those people for vaccines? Do you think they checked anybody for like any diseases? I mean, if they ask me or my family, my daughter-in-law just sent me a thing yesterday about how her business is like, we're mandating this vaccine, we're mandating that vaccine. I would have been like, F you.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything that you tell me to do, government. There's no way I'm doing any of this because of what I'm seeing you do. I believe none of these people. I will do nothing they tell me to do. They can F off because of everything that's happening.
Brian Brumley, I'm so glad you're here.
Oh my God.
Missed seeing your face, and we're just so sorry about all of the tragedy that you have had in your life lately. Thank you so much. He says, my wife Patty loved Ronnie Milsap. Thank you for all the prayers and love.
Oh my God, we love you. So glad you're here. Everybody wrap him up. Everybody give him a virtual hug.
Yeah, just wrap him right up in all of the big fat hugs.
Yes.
Just to round this out, a couple more things with respect to migration before we get to KJP, which was a disaster, a complete disaster yesterday. Kathy Hochul, governor of New York, she is now singing a very, very different tune. And it's so interesting. Somebody put this together like a side-by-side recording of her back in 2021 being so like, give us your tired and you're poor and you're hungry. New York is where we want you, man. We want you so bad. Compared to what she said this week. It's side by side. Take a listen.
As you know, the Statue of Liberty is inscribed. It says, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled young masses yearning to be free, the wretched refuse to a teeming shore. And that statement encapsulates our values. We want people to come here, despite where they came from or despite the circumstances that drove them to this country and to this state. We say you are welcome here. We are welcome with open arms, and we'll work to keep you safe. We'll not only house you, but we'll protect you. So our message to the world is, send us your people, send us those who need the cloak of comfort that we can demonstrate as New Yorkers with big hearts and open arms, and we'll provide a safe haven.
We have to let the word out that when you come to New York, we're not going to have more hotel rooms. We don't have capacity. So we have to also message properly that we're at our limit. If you're going to leave your country, go somewhere else. But the smarter thing is to apply for asylum before you leave your country.
Go somewhere else.
Go somewhere else. I mean, it's like, yeah, go where? Where are they going to go? They're going to run out of places.
Just stop leaving their countries.
Right.
Get your own house in order. Okay. Fight your own government. And because we're full here.
Yeah. I mean, like, we're over full here.
We're over full here.
And frankly, and I'll say it, I'm so sick of paying for these people. I'm sick of it. We are in debt. We can't afford it. We can't afford you. It's kind of like, when you have, I don't know, 8 kids already, and then all of a sudden you get pregnant with like quadruplets, you're like, oh my God, that's going to be a lot of mouths to feed. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like, why would you do that? Why would you bring more children into the world if you like cannot feed the 8 that you already have? And this is what we're doing. Like, we're literally just doing that over and over and over and over again. I don't, why do we think that we can pay for these people? Eventually we're like denying ourselves and our children and our grandchildren all the things that we were able to have growing up. Like, I don't know, a decent education, which already our educational system is so broken, I think, at this point. But like, I look at like my kid and I'm like, I don't want to rush her growing up, but I'm so glad that she's 13, because I think, God, I couldn't imagine being like I couldn't imagine raising a baby right now.
Oh my God. I would be terrified.
I'd be terrified. Right. I'd be terrified because of what's happening in our country and all the decay that's going on. Like, I'm like, at least I can talk to her and try to explain to her things that are going on. And if she sees things, she can start to think critically. But when you have a kid that's that young and they're in school, I mean, just so much stuff that's going on in our country, you guys, it's terrifying what's going on. And it's everywhere. These people are going to start taking over. The numbers are too high. They're just too high. And we're going to have to start accommodating these people on so many different levels. I think people think it's just an easy thing. Like, you can put them up in a hotel and it doesn't affect every single section of our lives. It affects everything. It affects your kids. It affects everything. And it affects education. It affects our, every single outlet that you use in your day-to-day life. It affects like our inflation. It affects everything.
This is how civilizations fall.
Collapse. This is how it happens. And I think they're doing it on purpose.
We're over capacity, and you can't sustain this.
Yeah.
You can't. And then on top of that, governments, you know how government is. When there's a government contract to be had, when there is government money, i.e. tax money, our money, when our money is there for the taking and the government seeks out private entities to help them manage any issue, particularly an emergency issue, what happens? These little organizations, these private companies, they win their government contracts, and then money gets wasted like crazy because they can charge the government, and the government's happy to dole out our money because there's an endless supply of it. And so here is what is happening. This is going to blow your mind.
Leaders are expressing shock after an NBC5 Investigates report we aired yesterday. We are waiting for records that show where the millions being spent on migrants is going.
Some records we did receive show employees working at migrant shelters have made more than $135 an hour. NBC5 Investigates Bennett Haberly is here more with what you've discovered, Bennett.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Kate and Alex, imagine making almost $200 an hour. These invoices show it has happened at the privately run shelters housing migrants. Today, I talked to aldermen who say they've been asking for receipts as well and had no idea of the figures until our report last night.
These invoices obtained by NBC5 Investigates show employees of a private company, Favorite Staffing, which run the city's migrant shelters, have made at least $135 an hour, in some cases more. In one invoice, a facility manager made $14,000 in a week in December. Another invoice shows a nurse earned more than $20,000 in 1 week.
Wow.
Those figures do account for overtime.
To see invoices like that are disgusting. Overtime. They're outrageous, and they should be cause for an immediate investigation.
Do you have an accounting for all the dollars are going?
No, we haven't been. And I think that's the big concern that came up today was that we're willing to accept federal dollars. We're willing to give dollars to these issues, but we need to see where every penny is spent.
NBC5 Investigates filed public records requests 3 months ago.
That's my favorite when they're like, we need an investigation. We should do a congressional.
Who pays for that?
Right.
We do.
Uh-huh.
We investigate our own money being wasted.
Right. And then we pay for the investigation where they have like catered lunch and we pay for the catered lunch and they all come in and they yell and scream at each other and then nothing gets freaking done. And we still lost the money. And then we lost money on top of that with the investigation. So what's the point? They just waste our money. That's what this is. But listen, I also blame those people because I used to do like contract work and I know how that stuff works where you do like give them a bid and man, you overbid.
Of course you do.
You overbid the government because the government's like, okay, we'll pay that. And so people take advantage. And that's what those people are doing is they're taking advantage, but they're not just taking advantage of the government. They're taking advantage of us.
Right.
And that is not okay, especially in this particular situation where we're being invaded. And God, shame on those people. I mean, I know the people are like, well, hell yeah, I'm making $20,000 in a week. Why wouldn't I do that? But at the same time, it's like, yikes.
But what's amazing is the government, of course, is just like, yeah, that seems fine. It seems fine that somebody's making $135 an hour.
Right.
To deal with an emergency problem. That seems fine to us. What's the problem? I mean, nobody's doing an accounting of this. Nobody.
Right. In a lot of cases, it's just babysitting adults.
My God.
Yeah.
It's just so infuriating. Okay, speaking of infuriating, let's get this out of the way. KJP had a not so good day at the podium yesterday. She was asked by a lot of reporters, not just Peter Doocy, who we'll get to, but most reporters really wanted to get an answer or some answers to the questions at hand. Namely, like, first of all, you're going to see a clip of her answering the question about, hey, how come Biden just allowed 500,000 illegal Venezuelans to get work permits?
Oh my God.
Can you explain how that doesn't incentivize more of them to come? And you can guess how well she answers it. Check this out.
The administration said yesterday it was granting temporary legal status to hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans. At the same time, the city of Eagle Pass in the Rio Grande has announced a state of emergency because of immigrant surge. Is there any concern that the timing of this Venezuelan TPS announcement might exacerbate what's happening in Eagle Pass right now? And essentially, is this going to make the situation in Eagle Pass worse?
So look, we have worked very hard. The president have worked very hard to implement a strategy when it comes to the border that is humane, safe, and has orderly enforcement. That is something that we have tried to do and worked really hard to do these last 2 years.
They've worked really hard, you guys.
She's so reading that. I mean, she just flipped right to it and she's just reading a script and they lie and lie and lie. Okay, so I have a question. So it was like work visas for Venezuelan illegals, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Are the Hondurans mad? I mean, like,
I don't know.
I'm just curious. Like when I saw that yesterday, I was like, okay, so they just like singled out the Venezuelans. Like, what about all the other people from all the other places? I mean, are they racist against like all the other places? I don't understand how
Don't give them any ideas, though.
I'm not giving them ideas. I'm just like, why do they single out the Venezuelans and not, you know what I mean? Like, is there, I don't know, is there somebody in the Biden administration that's like, I'm Venezuelan, let's give the Venezuelans all the visas. And then because, they're obviously, listen, what this is all about, we all know, is so they can just get voters.
Right.
Because they're going to get in here, they're going to get visas. That means they can get like driver's licenses and all that kind of stuff. And in certain states, they just go ahead and they get put on the voter rolls. And they vote for Biden because he's the guy that let them in. So there you go. That's what this is about.
It's also freaking predictable. Now, I don't know. I think we mentioned yesterday that the Biden administration, federal officials were down on the Texas border, cutting down some of the razor wire that Abbott had ordered to be put up to deter some of the migrants from coming in, which is pretty basic. Like, since we're not getting money for a wall because we're too busy protecting Ukrainian borders and we're not protecting our own, at the very least, can we not have some razor wire? No, we can't. Apparently, it's now a position of Biden that they're going to just cut down razor wire for what possible reason I cannot fathom. So somebody asked KJP whether or not this is an official position of the Biden administration.
There was footage yesterday of Border Patrol cutting some of the razor wire that Texas had installed. Governor Abbott has vowed to reinstall it. They have his border czar has pictures of people taking fresh razor wire out to the border to reinstall it. Is there now a federal policy of removing the barriers that Texas is installing?
So here's what I'll say. I would have to look into that. I did see those reports yesterday, but as it relates to Governor Abbott, we know what he has done these past couple of years while this president has been in office. He's turned this, when it comes to the border, he's turned this into a political stunt.
Oh
and
my
that's what
God.
he's done over and over again. That's what I can speak to. I did see those reports. I would have to go back and get a sense from the team and give you an answer on that.
How dare she?
Yeah,
How dare she?
You know what? That Ronald McDonald looking woman needs to go live in Eagle Pass. She needs to live there. Go live there for a little while. Go live in El Paso. Go live there. I double dog dare her to do that for just 3 days.
Or just go to New York City and live downtown and see what it's like there right now.
There you go.
If you're not going to actually go to the border, just see where the migrants are being shipped to and look around. This isn't rocket science.
Mm-hmm. That would be great. Right.
So Doocy, of course, wants to talk about numbers. There's like 10,000 people coming over a day, and he has a valid question about that. This is unacceptable behavior on her part. It's just every reporter should have stood up and said, this is bullshit and we're done. We're done with you. We want a new press secretary. You suck. Like, there needs to be an uprising of the reporters when it comes to behavior like this.
Call it here at the White House when 10,000 people illegally cross the border in a single day.
So what do you call it, Peter, when GOP puts forth a wait, no, you can't. I'm answering. Okay, we're going to move on. No, we're moving on.
Great,
please.
In the back. You said you were stopping the flow.
Look at the rest of them, just sitting there looking down.
I tried to answer the question. You stopped me. Let's go.
They all
my
just
God.
What a bunch of losers these people are.
Right?
They're all just sitting down, they're just sitting and looking down. Like, we're not real journalists. We're we're here for the ride, and we're all about the agenda. We're all about the narrative. That's what all those people did. What a bunch of pathetic excuses for adults they are.
I know. They all need to rise up.
Mm-hmm.
And they won't, because they only care about their own damn credentials. That's all they give a shit about. It makes me so mad that they don't all defend him. They know he's asking a question that deserves an answer. And the fact that they just sit there and they just let him be treated that way is unreal. And so one of the reporters tries again, to ask her, when is enough? What's the number of illegals that actually has to come over before you guys actually do something?
10 million, 12 million.
And she's going to pretend like she doesn't understand what's being asked. Check this out.
How many people coming into this country illegally is enough for President Biden then?
Say that last one.
How many people illegally coming into the United States is enough for President Biden's administration?
Enough for what?
5.9 million people have been encountered illegally.
I know the numbers, but enough for what?
Enough just to stop the flow.
As I mentioned, this is a problem that's been around for some time now, for decades. A broken system.
I can't with her. I know. She's absolutely unreal.
It's just incredible that they tolerate it.
And it's because they want it, you guys. They want it. And if everybody can't see that, it's nice that CNN has jumped into the fray. Good for them. Welcome to the party, pal. It's nice that they're joining at the 11th hour and they're coming in. They're like, oh, I guess there's some sort of problem at the border. We should probably report on it. And that's what they're doing, which irritates the crap out of me, because Fox has been reporting about this for 2 freaking years. They've been talking about this. I mean, guy with the good hair has been out there sweating his balls off for 2 years. I mean, think about it. And I swear these people are finally just jumping on board, and they're going, oh, I guess maybe there's a little bit of a problem. And who can we blame it on? Let's blame it on the GOP. And that's what the White House is trying to do. They're trying to blame it on Republicans. You can't do that. Over the past 2 years, they simply can't do it. Granted, there may not have been immigration reform that probably could have happened years ago, but you can't blame this invasion on the GOP. You simply can't do it.
No, and they will continue to. And what's amazing is that those reporters will just sit there and be like, well, I guess that's the answer.
Did you see what happened with WAPO and Dave Portnoy yesterday?
Yeah.
And how there was that. Yeah. And that it reminds me of that. There is no such thing as journalism anymore. If you guys didn't see, there's a really interesting story where he called a journalist on the phone who was doing basically a hit piece on him. And it was all over the news yesterday. And he called that chick out, and it was a thing of beauty.
It was
and
glorious.
Yeah, it was absolutely glorious. And she had an agenda in mind, and there was nothing journalistic about it. And she was going to just completely destroy him in this piece. And he was like, I'm not having it. I'm just not going to have it. And it was great. But she calls herself a journalist, which I'm assuming all the people in that press room do the same. They're not journalists. These people don't want to get to the bottom of anything, because if they did, they'd be asking the same questions that Peter Doocy was asking.
Right.
They would be wanting to know.
They wouldn't take this crap for an answer. They would be like, hey, Karine, you're not answering the question. You're just spouting talking points. Actually answer the question that's coming out of our faces. Just try it, because nobody buys this. Literally nobody.
Right.
Do you want to take a moment to brag about your roses?
I do. I have roses that are still alive, you guys, after years. I can't believe it. They're still alive, and they're at my cabin, and I don't do anything to them, and they still grow. Like, it's amazing. It's pretty.
I mean, I know you, and no offense, but you, like me, do not have a green thumb.
I kill all the things, and I don't do it on purpose, but I kill all the things. So yeah, it's remarkable.
So when we are able, I saw somebody comment the other day, we were talking about fast growing trees and how, you got your roses from there. I got my lilac tree from there, and they are thriving. And I saw somebody comment, well, it's like super easy to keep lilac trees alive. You don't know how capable I am of killing green things.
Right, exactly.
You just don't understand. And so the fact that it's alive is truly a miracle. But what's really amazing about fast growing trees is their ginormous selection that is all online. You don't have to go and go to some, what do they call them?
Nursery?
Yeah. You don't have to go to a nursery and then have your trunk filled with dirt because you've gone to pick up something in person. They will ship stuff straight to your door that is packaged so well. You unpackage it outside. It gives you exact instructions for how deep of a hole you need to dig or what kind of planting situation you need to do. Everything is it's like literally for toddlers. You can do this. If you have a brown thumb, as we do, Fast Growing Trees is your ticket to green thumbery. Okay. And not only do they have a huge selection, which they help tailor to your particular climate, your area of the country, they also have support all the time. So if you have questions about how to plant something, where to plant something, what needs shade, what doesn't, they've got people on staff all the time that will help you. Like just in a chat room situation, you can call them easily. It's so fantastic. You can create the yard of your dreams, or you can get indoor plants, whatever you need. Fast Growing Trees has got it. You can save 15% off of your entire order at fastgrowingtrees.com/chicks. That's fastgrowingtrees.com/chicks. They've got this offer going until October 15th. So you want to hurry. You want to take advantage and make sure to stock up. Fall's a great time to plant a whole bunch of things. So fastgrowingtrees.com/chicks. Get your 15% off. All right, let's move on away from the border because I just can't anymore. We know how bad it is. It's
bad.
Horrendous. It's bad.
Yeah.
Let's get to some Kamala goodness, because she was asked yesterday about inflation and rising prices and how everything costs too much. And she is so dumb that I just had to share these two quick clips of her. I'll just let them run together because they go together, and it just gives you, it puts a spotlight on how completely vapid she is. Check this out.
You're touting Bidenomics. They're calling it Bidenflation. What is your take on if with prices going up?
Right. Well, first of all, I think it's important to pay attention to the fact that that prices need to come down in a number of areas, but we have been lowering the cost of living for so many people. But it's a real issue, and and I take it seriously. What we are doing is bringing down the cost of energy by helping people get rebates to put in, for example, a new HVAC system to bring down the cost of their energy bills on a monthly level, but also to improve the quality of the air that they breathe. So there are a number of things that we are doing, but it's a real issue, and we have to stay focused on it, and it's one of our highest priorities.
Right. You guys have money to put in a whole new HVAC system in your house? Then you can get a rebate. I mean, it's like you want to
like, what is it? Like a $2,000 rebate?
Maybe $30 back on the thousands that you spent. I mean, you guys going to do that? Because that's saving money in her life. Yes. Good Lord. These people are so out of touch. She has no idea. Yeah. $50 rebate on 6,000, Jennifer. Yeah, exactly.
But see how they're working for you.
They're working really hard. They're working really hard for you, American taxpayer. Bend over.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
Couple of people to thank. Paula Johnson says, yes, Mock, they all need to stand up. She's talking about the journalists and revolt. So sick of KJP's political stunts response. It's so insulting to Governor Abbott, who's literally doing anything in his power to try to secure the border, which is the federal government's job. And they're going to try to call him like some sort of political stunt man. Screw them.
Mm-hmm.
Eugene Heiger, thank you. He says, you can't fix stupid. They all put blinders on and act stupid. You're right. And Jay Carter, thank you. He's quoting KJP. The border is a mess, but Republicans are poopy pants.
That was a really good impression. The two of you together, like doing that was amazing. That was good.
As you know, the UN met and Zelensky came to demand more money from the United States.
This guy. What is
Poland,
it?
by the way,
24
is done.
billion? Oh yeah. Poland's like, no, Poland's smart.
Poland,
so
my
smart.
Motherland. They're like, you know what? We see that you are drowning and we would not like to drown with you. So literally that was their president's words.
We should be like Poland, when it comes to spending. Seriously, they're like, we don't have the money to spend. We're not going to do it. We're just not going to do that.
And we have to build up our own defenses.
Right.
We have to build up our own security.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't see why is that a bad thing? I don't think that's a bad thing. What is he asking for? 24 billion? Isn't that what he wants now?
Who knows? I mean, it's an endless. Like they even talked to what's his face? Who's that lizard guy from the State Department?
I don't know.
The national security guy.
A lot of them are lizard people. I can't keep track of all the lizard people that are in Washington.
You guys know who I'm talking about.
They're all very lizardy.
The lizard guy. You know who I'm talking about?
I don't know. She does this. I don't know. It helps. Sometimes it helps her remember, but it's not helping
Sullivan,
you guys.
Yes, Jake Sullivan.
Sullivan,
the lizard guy. He was asked yesterday, like, what's our top line? When is this going to be? How much are we going to give them and for how long? And he was like, well, war is very unpredictable. So we just have to be ready to
as long as it takes.
As long
as it takes. That's their thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Rand Paul is over this. And I think he speaks for all of us. Couple clips from Rand talking to Maria Bartiromo. The first one is about just the funding. And because Lindsey Graham was like, we got to keep sending them so much money. He was on with Maria right before Rand was. And so Rand came on after to react. Here is that clip.
You just heard what Lindsey Graham said. How much money total has gone to Ukraine so far? What has been the impact? And have you been to Ukraine?
Somebody needs to remind the senator that we don't have any money. We're about $1.5 trillion in debt for this year. Over the last 3 months, we've accumulated almost $1 trillion in 3 months. The total is $33 trillion. So we don't have like an extra rainy day fund or a surplus we can send them. We have to borrow the money from China to send it to Ukraine. So no matter what your sympathies are in the war, and I'm sympathetic to Ukraine fighting off the Russian aggressors, but at the same time, I think it's irresponsible to think about their country before I think about my country. We have a government funding that needs to happen before September 30th. For them to hold that hostage and to say, oh, we'll close down, we're going to close down government unless you pass Ukrainian funding. We don't have the money. So I don't think it's a good idea for our country to continue borrowing. We've given them over, I think it's about 113 billion. This is another 24 billion. But if you read between the lines, they'll tell you it'll last them about 2 to 3 months and they'll be back again. Every 2 to 3 months they're over here. He'll be here again today begging for more money. It's not even just going to armaments. You realize we're funding the pension of their government workers. And we complain about bloated government here. They've got bloated government and they've got corruption. And the American taxpayer, people who are struggling in our country, are asked to fund it. I think it's wrong. And I think most of the American people, frankly, are with me.
Well, there's also this incredible...
Yeah.
Preach it. Preach it, Rand.
Right?
God, I just like more people need to talk about that too. It's not just, like he said, it's not just armaments. We're funding pensions. Y'all get a pension? I don't get a pension. Do you get a pension? God. Unbelievable. God, I'm just so sick of this crap.
Well,
So
and
sick of
apparently there is an American journalist who is in prison in Ukraine. And so when he talks about corruption and like them not being necessarily even a democratic nation anymore, why are we doing this? So here he is to get more real about that.
There's also this incredible story about an American journalist, Gonzalo Lira. He's reportedly right now in prison in Ukraine on allegations of spreading Russian propaganda. I don't understand this, that Joe Biden could approve $113 billion of money to Ukraine, and yet he has not tried to get this American journalist out of prison there. How is that possible?
It's even worse than that, Maria. They've canceled the elections. What kind of democracy has no election? So next year, Zelensky said he's not going to have an election because it would be inconvenient during the war and would be expensive. Well, the thing is, if you don't have elections, why in the world would we be supporting a country that's not a democracy? They've banned the political parties. They've invaded churches. They've arrested priests. So, no, it isn't a democracy. It's a corrupt regime. And are the Russians any better? No, the Russians are worse. But at the same time, we don't always have to pick some side to be on. But the ultimate reason I'm against this is we don't have the money. And when we borrow more money, it leads to more inflation, leads to more likelihood of recession in our country. And so we just can't keep doing it.
How can you disagree with this? How can anybody disagree with what he's saying? And if you do, then go freaking live in Ukraine. Go live there. I mean, seriously, go.
I mean, at least you'd get a pension.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen the grocery stores over there? They're stocked. They look nice. They look like really nice Whole Foods. I mean, I'm so sick of, how can you disagree with this guy?
I don't know. I can't explain that at all. Jill Smith, thank you. Jill says, good morning. Please, for my baby girl, 14-year-old dachshund, my beautiful redhead. She has very bad teeth and in pain. It's $2,000 to help her. I don't have any money to help her. It's a sad day. Love y'all. Please stop sending us super stickers if you have no money.
I know, right? Don't do that.
Don't do that. Oh my God. If there's a way for you to take that back, please
do
that.
it. And then spend it on your baby. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, thank you. But wow, don't do that. Don't do that.
And go love on her.
And go love on
that
for
sweet
sure.
girl. Mm-hmm.
Jim Jordan. Well, I'm sorry. The thumbnail's Jim Jordan, but that's not what I'm about to show you. What I'm about to show you is a Ukrainian who is actually my member of Congress, Victoria Spartz. This is a long clip, and I understand that some people may find her voice shrill. But when Merrick Garland was being questioned, not yesterday, but the day before, she had a moment to question Merrick Garland about Americans' trust in their government. And coming from Ukraine, she has a very unique perspective to bring. This was just the most awesome diatribe ever. I cannot cut it down because every word of this is so important for everybody to hear. You're going to love this. I love her. We love her. We sat at the table with her at, what was it?
It was a military fundraiser. We've hung out with her. She's really awesome.
That was before she was in Congress.
Oh my gosh. Way before, when she was just a regular person. And I really, really like her a lot.
Yeah.
Cool chick, really cool chick. Her background is just unbelievable. She just reminds me of like your parents and like they're coming over here. She's amazing. She's just a really cool chick. Mm-hmm.
She was absolutely on fire, and every word of this is so important. And so I'm just going to let it play. It's a little bit long. Just brace yourselves. Here she is.
Attorney General, you had a very moving statement about your grandparents coming here from Belarus to live in the country without fear of prosecution. I grew up in very similar country, Ukraine now, and when I came here as a young person, I believed in the value as an American not to be afraid of my government. But I wanted to tell you, and I want to share with you and get your thoughts on that. Are you aware that a lot of Americans are now afraid of being prosecuted by your department? Are you aware about that? Are you aware of that? I'm just saying, are you aware or not?
I think that constant attacks on the department and saying
It's
that
not attacks. Well, let me give you an example.
I don't know
We talk
what-
about January 6th. People.
I'm sorry?
Here, there are some people came on January 6th. There probably were some people that came on January 6th here, that had bad intent. But a lot of good Americans from my district came here because they are sick and tired of this government not serving them. They came with strollers and the kids, and there was chaotic situation because the proper security wasn't provided. That's a question that was answered really why. Why we debated for 45 minutes on the floor and didn't stop the debate after the people broke into the Capitol. But these people came, they were throwing the smoke bombs into the crowd with strollers with kids. People were showed up, FBI agent to people's houses. You had in my district, in my town, FBI phone numbers all over the district. Please call that. People are truly afraid. I just want to make sure if you're not aware that you are. And this is a big problem when people are afraid of their own government. And I'll share some other things. We're talking about justice system. I don't question, you're probably not a bad person. I don't know you, but what I'll tell you, you're in charge of the department. And people right now feel, I look at Durham report and I call on the FISA violations of queries of millions of Americans, right? It's like KGB, but when I read Durham reports, we have this, you have a nice, playbook. First, let's have a special counsel, and then you don't have to answer any questions here. Then, let's extend slow walk investigation on Hillary Clinton, on Hunter. Everything is slow walked. We were very quick on Donald Trump, but you were very slow walked. Then, by the time, that investigation ended, statute of limitation expired, and all of your agents need to be tested for amnesia. No one recalls anything. Okay, you probably should have as part of your hiring policy. So no one held accountable, which was egregious what happened, in that report. When I read about them, I can't believe it happened in the United States of America. This is my frustration. I'll be honest with you. Then it's very interesting, regardless what it is, even people in Obama administration raise concerns. How can president's sons be serving on, corrupt Ukrainian oligarchs? Do you understand that it actually can undermine the one Ukrainian effort and policy? I think these concerns were raised. The Obama administration didn't do anything about it. These people are dying right now, and Americans don't trust this president. So I want to ask you one thing. I don't need answer because I know you're not going to, but I think you're probably a good American and you care. And a lot of these people are so afraid they cover up this stuff, I think, in your department because they're embarrassed that what we became as a country to say that what our Department of Justice became. That allows Russians to do propaganda in Chinese. It allows them to destabilize our country. That is danger to our republic. It is significant danger. And I have just one more question from you. I agree on corporate crimes and FISA stuff, even with Democrats, that we need to do a better job. One more question for you. Do you believe that, you talk about rights to vote, but do you believe that only U.S. citizens should be voting in this election and doing anything to make sure that only eligible people vote in elections?
Yes and yes.
Okay, I would like to see that, what you do. Thank you. Kneel back.
Yeah, bullshit is right. That was a beautiful thing. I love how she actually gave him some credit. She's like
kind.
She tried to be kind to him. Like you were, which I wouldn't have been. She was just like, guys, did you guys get rid of that John Stevenson dude out there? Did you get rid of him? I was kind of watching the comments. That guy's a piece of crap. He's making fun of her blouse. You're a piece of crap.
Seriously?
Do better. Seriously. You're the kind of guy that makes fun of we don't know what we look like. You're that guy who would make fun of how I look this morning. Screw you, John. Go away. Anyways, but my thing is like she was trying to be kind to him. And I think that was a good tactic, at least, because she was like, listen, you probably love your country, but you have screwed this up royally.
Yeah.
And it's like, then you can't backpedal. And all these people are in it with you. And they're all like, crap, we're in a big world of hurt now because we're in it. What am I supposed to do? I work for this department. I gotta do this. Well, you actually don't, because there's this thing called integrity. You could either walk away or you could be on the right side of things. But a lot of these people probably feel trapped in that department. Think about that.
Right.
So I God bless her. She came from a crap country, a country that is she came from communism, and she comes here and she's like, look at what's happening here. A lot of this stuff looks like communism.
And people being afraid of their government is what is antithetical to what America is supposed to be about.
Yep.
And so her point, and I feel like he didn't get her point, because she's saying when people mistrust your department so much, are you not aware of how much that's a problem? And he's like, well, these constant attacks on our department.
Oh, for crying out loud.
God.
Get over it.
You know what? No, you don't get to be all like,
no, you don't get to, because
my department.
Right. Because he's the one that wields the power.
Right.
He's the one that has all the power and we don't. And that's not okay, because that's not the way that our country is supposed to be. We're the ones who are supposed to have the power. And he's like, no, I mean, he's up here now and we're down here. That's not the way America is supposed to be. And that's why Americans are afraid.
Yeah.
And it's everything is turned upside down. Our founders are they are rolling, you guys.
God. I had to show the whole thing, because even though it was long, because
it was great.
How could I possibly cut that? Right.
No, it was great. She did a great job.
Meanwhile, lest you think that the government isn't working hard on things, they are. In fact, speaking of communism, they have a whole new government department. It's a corps, if you will. It's a climate corps. This was part of AOC's original Green New Deal wish list. Okay. And it's happening. It's happening. Here's Chuck Schumer to announce it.
Celebrate President Biden taking executive action to create the American Climate Corps. As you know, last August, we passed the Inflation Reduction Act, the largest climate investment in history ever by a long shot. We need to make sure that we're specifically reaching disadvantaged and minority communities that have been traditionally ignored and overlooked, as new climate-related disasters occur almost on a weekly basis. Well, what's the answer to that? The American Climate Corps will do just that. The jobs created by the American Climate Corps is going to offer a pathway so that people can get into the middle class and stay there. We believe in ladders so that people can climb up and then establish themselves with a good life. We have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to meet that moment again.
We're going to fight the weather, you guys. We're going to fight it. Staple money to the clouds. It's going to be great. That's what they're going to do. They're going to hire all these people. We're going to pay them, all these kids, like the Greta Thunbergs, and they're going to just take our money and staple it all over to the clouds. It's going to be great. It's what they're going to do. Why don't they have like a border one? They should have a border one.
That would be great. A core for the border.
Yeah, they should have a border. They should have a border
That's not
corps.
important. That's not important.
Why don't they recruit a bunch of kids to be in the border corps? Because God knows we need it.
Well, those kids are all busy being glued to various streets in protest of the weather. So
That's
they're
right.
very busy.
It's the weather. Everybody, did you see Bernie behind there? Bernie's like, I'm so old. What's happening?
I was too distracted by AOC going.
She's like, what about that? Somebody should have screamed. What about the kids in cages? What about people dying in the river? Are you upset? No, I mean, she's just delighted. She's so happy this week, isn't she? Because of the climate corps.
Oh my God. All right. Moving on to some culture issues. Project Veritas, by the way, is donezo. They're disbanded as of yesterday. Now,
they didn't hold on for very long.
No, they can't without James O'Keefe.
Right.
He was the glue. He was the reason that they existed. And so, and there's some question about how they've spent a lot of money, because now they're like, we're bankrupt. We have no money. And James O'Keefe is like, excuse me, what? Where did it all go? Because I raised a whole bunch of it. Anyway, there's questions about that. But before they disbanded, they did have an undercover investigation into this LGBTQ organization that tries to infiltrate very young elementary classrooms. So you're going to hear some undercover footage of that, which is just extraordinary. Take a listen.
Elementary educators, this is where it happens, my friends. The more work we could do at the elementary level, breaking down the gender binary, Anyway, with girls and boys, and there's so much work that can happen, and we're going to have some of those conversations today.
My plethora of queer flags that I have in my classroom. And the truth is that we know that kids are coming out at younger and younger ages.
My God.
And gender is, sexuality as well. But especially looking at gender, we have kids as early as 2-3 years of age. I always tell tenured teachers, you're going to have more longevity making change if you maybe play it a little safer for a little longer. Who knows if on Monday I'm going to come in and I'm going to be told to take down the flag, but I will do what Sarah did in Connecticut and not do so. Thank God for tenure. Lean on your tenured colleagues to do some of this work because we need you.
Yeah, tenure needs to be abolished.
Yeah,
no
tenure,
more.
it absolutely needs to be abolished in our public schools. Again, with the whole, I'm so glad my daughter is 13.
God.
Because can you imagine? I'd be just, again, with the terrified. This is just nuts, you guys.
I know. And the whole, kids are coming out as gay, sometimes as early as 2 and 3.
Oh,
are
stop
you
it.
freaking high?
Stop it.
Oh my God. It's just insane. And then to make it worse, there's one of these crazy lunatic elementary teachers, and probably even younger. This could be preschool based on just the toys that she's holding up. There is an actual book that she is ostensibly reading to toddlers about abortion. You guys, look at this. It's almost too evil to share.
A book called What's an Abortion Anyway? Linz, what is an abortion anyway? Well, we're just going to have to find out in the book, Teddy.
What the hell is even happening?
It's mental. These people are freaking mental. Seriously, all of them. And why? Why would you teach a young kid about abortion? Why would you do that? Why? And does this belong in our public schools? Any of this? Does it belong in our public schools? I mean, I constantly ask my daughter, what were you taught today? What's going on in your classrooms? What did you learn today? What happened? What was your favorite thing that happened today? What was your least favorite thing that happened today? We constantly have conversations. And it's she knows a lot of time that I'm drilling her about what's happening in your history class. What are they teaching you in history, especially? And then are there any red flags? And she knows to recognize red flag. This is absolute garbage. But a young kid has no idea whether they don't know to decipher what is a red flag and what is not. A 13-year-old gets it. A tiny tot has no idea that this is crazy. And so it's just, this is insidious child abuse is what it is.
Well, and imagine reading such a book to a child about children that are killed off.
Right.
What is the level of evil that you need to be to even write such a book?
You know what I mean? It's just insanity. These people are mental. I want a divorce.
Oh my God.
A divorce. They're crazy.
So Daisy and I talked yesterday. We didn't get to this yesterday, but we talked about it, and we're going to get to this clip now. Inexplicably, I think Cindy Crawford may have a new book coming out or something in which she's talking about her marriage to Richard Gere, and she's divulging all kinds of stuff that nobody needs to know, but she wants money, I guess. And so she's telling her whole life story. And for some reason, I don't know if it was as an excerpt of the book or whether she said this in an interview, but in whichever case that happened, she is talking about her initial introduction to the world on the Oprah Winfrey Show back in 1986. And she's saying that now when she watches that clip of herself on the Oprah Show, she thinks it's highly inappropriate the way that she was treated by Oprah, who asks her to stand up and do a little spin to show off her body. Keep in mind, Cindy Crawford is a model, and that's her actual job.
One of the original supermodels.
And so being asked to spin as a model and show your body kind of seems like it goes with the territory. I don't know. That's just me. But now she finds it wildly inappropriate, and it's gotten big enough. It's made big enough news that Oprah has now deleted this episode of her show from her YouTube channel. But we do have the clip, and you can judge for yourself whether you think this is highly inappropriate or not.
She's been in Vogue, she's been in Elle, Harper's Bazaar, and was discovered here in Chicago, straight from DeKalb, Illinois to New York modeling. Please welcome Cindy Crawford. Well, Cindy, from DeKalb to New York, that's a long journey.
Yes.
It is. Well, tell us what it's like for you now.
I live here
Mm-hmm.
in Chicago because I prefer living here because I'm close to home. But I've been traveling quite a bit. I just got back from Mexico and Key West
Mm-hmm.
on trips for bookings. It's great. I mean, I'm having fun, and I also was in school for part of the time, 2 years, while I was modeling.
Where'd you discover her?
Well, she was actually discovered by my partner, Jane Stewart, from Elite here in Chicago, and entered into our Look of the Year contest, where she was one of the finalists, and that's how we started our relationship.
So did you have to groom her? Did she always have this body? This is unbelievable. Stand up just a moment, because no one saw you come in standing up. Now, this is what I call a body. Very good, very good.
But I'm not, I don't weigh 100 pounds. I'll tell that lady on the phone that I do not weigh 100 pounds.
Are you about 5'9", 5'10"?
5'9", and I try to stay around 120.
Okay.
So.
I'm happy for you. So
Is she really happy for her? I mean, I don't think she's really, I don't think Oprah's really happy for her. Yeah. But at the same time, she's a model, so she shouldn't be pissed off about this, because the whole point of modeling is to be objectified. That's literally the point of being a model. And now her daughter is one too. So if she had a huge problem with this, then why did you even I don't know, subject your daughter to this? You should have been like pummeling her from birth.
Right.
Don't be a model. Don't be a model. Don't be a model. I mean, seriously, go be something else. Because I think, as I recall, I've read stuff about Cindy Crawford. She's a pretty smart chick. I think like her original, it had something to do with either medicine or engineering or something that she wanted to go into. And then she decided to be a model. So, I mean, if her genetics are good, her kids are probably somewhat smart. Kaya didn't have to be a model. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she did. Maybe she's not that smart at all. I don't know. But I mean, why would she push her daughter into doing it if this was such a huge issue? I don't know.
Now, and to be fair, I don't know to what extent she's fussing about this. Like, she said it, and she may have been like, now that I look at that clip, it's probably inappropriate that she like referred to my body that way. And that could have been as strongly worded as she was. But the fact is that she said something about it, and now it's exploded. And now Oprah is like taking it down, and it's this huge embarrassment. And I just don't see a problem with anything Oprah said.
Especially when you've that's the whole reason you're loaded now, chick.
Right.
Is because of your body and your face. That's what if you didn't want that, you should have done something else with your life.
Yeah.
That's why you're loaded.
I don't get it. Speaking of objectification, comedian Ryan Long has this great idea to help the U.S. women's soccer team get money. And here he is asking people what their opinion is about it.
So
a lot of people don't watch the women's leagues. Do you think it might help if they played topless?
No, that's extremely misogynistic and disgusting.
Well, the ratings would probably go up, right?
Yeah, but that's pretty.
What do you think's a better idea to get the ratings up?
Educate and advocate for women's rights, especially.
No, but where would the money come from? That's why I'm trying to figure out revenue streams.
Well, you have to spend money to make.
Well, they've definitely been spending money. So no on the topless thing? Your women should play naked?
Yes.
Oh
do you like it?
Yeah, I don't mind the
Me too.
Nice, dude.
Oh my God. That's such a men versus women thing.
Oh my God. I love
how many times has your husband actually like said that under his breath? Like, I'm not going to watch women's sports unless they're topless. Right. For real. I mean, it's just so dumb. Who watches this crap?
So speaking of Ryan Long, he's reacting to some of the censorship that's happening across the comedy world, across the regular world too. And he is going to defy any rule about this on his upcoming tour, and he wants you to know all about it.
In some parts of Britain, the arrest rate for offensive speech has risen by 900%. The Times reported that British police are arresting up to 9 people a day. Law enforcement is encouraging people to report non-crime incidents, and here I was thinking that New York had a rat problem. Which is why, on my tour, I will be attempting the death-defying stunt of performing the most offensive set list of all time. I will be doing all of this while smoking cigarettes on stage, wearing a leather jacket with a patch on it that says offend, and asking the audience if it was too soon after every single bit. I will start this set by yelling the N-word for 10 minutes. I will then proceed to draw the Prophet Muhammad for 8 straight hours. Abortion, 10 minutes for 10 minutes against. After that, I will take a devil's advocate position on Cosby, school shootings, and police brutality. I will then proceed to deport 3 immigrants. Time frame of that bit depends on the helicopter. I will attempt to list off the number of genders using only my thumbs. I will then wheel a handicapped man down the stairs, deny COVID existed in its entirety, rank races best to worst, and for my finale, I will be bringing 4 dogs on stage that I have taught a special trick. And if the cops are listening, you can try to stop me, you British
Love that.
I love every single bit of that. That was awesome.
Isn't that great? She's just fantastic.
Great. So great.
Also, here's an interesting item that is for sale. See if you think there's anything odd about this.
Okay,
is there anything that you notice in particular about the non-binary?
Yeah, because one is for women and one is for men. That's the first that's the first red flag. Also, it's an ugly shirt. That is one ugly shirt. Seriously, could they not pick better colors for their stupid flag? Why does everybody get a flag? You guys, this is so dumb.
I just love that this exists in the world. This just makes me happy.
Non-binary comes in men and women. It comes in. Isn't that great?
That's my favorite. All right, that's a great segue into your whack. Well, at least one of your whacks.
Yeah, I have 2 whacks today. One is John Cusack. We are, as I found out yesterday, we're blocked. So I had to screenshot this. John Cusack has blocked Chicks on the Right on Twitter. Apparently, Mock has pissed him off at some time, and he doesn't like conservative women because, he's a douche.
I don't even remember what fight I had with him. It must have been so long ago.
I think it was when we were on our radio days. I remember something that had to do with him. And I remember being disappointed that he was a liberal jerk then. And he's just gone so far off the deep end now. So far. So if you read this tweet, this is just whack. It had to be read to you guys. You guys remember John Cusack from such things as 16 Candles and High Fidelity and whatnot. Yes.
Now, if people are listening and not reading, let's just read it. It says, this is John Cusack talking about Biden, and he says, he's been the most competent executive, the actual doing of the job and working the levers of power in my lifetime, he says about Biden. And he goes on, if we had not been rat-effed by 2 senators, he would have made the largest investments in people since FDR. That to me is just factual truth. Experience matters. And I love the idea of a president with the experience of a lifetime in their final chapter of life calling the shots. What are they going to do to him? He should be able to look anyone in the eye and tell him to go to hell.
So many of them feel this way. So I just,
Wow.
I just needed to put that out there. It's insane. These people are insane. So that was the first one.
Next one.
Yeah. So my next whack is this trans individual who thinks that cis women are weak, you guys. And he's saying all this stuff on Trevor Noah's show. And Trevor Noah is he's the one who's pathetic and weak because he says nothing to this man who is in a costume as a woman. And I'm so sick of this garbage. Listen to this.
This issue, people like to say that it's a complicated issue, and I don't actually think it is. I think it's very simple. It all boils down to, do you actually think that trans women and intersex women are real women and are really female or not? And if you do, it's very simple. Just stop policing who counts as a real woman, because this has had history of racism built into it over the years. It's not an accident that the intersex athletes who get singled out are women of color from the global south, because who gets singled out for scrutiny is based on white women's conceptions of femininity. And that's being weaponized against trans people too. So it's a fear of protecting the fragile, weak, cis white woman from the rest of us.
So there are many elements to what you said, which I appreciate. So let's try to break them down.
He appreciates it.
One thing that confuses me personally is it seems like we have discussions about who should participate in which category and how. On the face of it, it seems
simple as you say. You know, if somebody identifies as a woman, if they're transgender, they can compete against women who were born biologically, and then if not, then not. But then there are many who would argue who are not transphobes. There are many who born biologically women who will say, but you have an unnatural advantage over me, and that makes the sport unfair. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, there's lots of ways you can respond to that. So the first is the very language of you were born and I'm not biological somehow, like I don't think I'm a cyborg. So like this idea that like, oh, you're not a biological woman. Well, I am a woman, that's a fact. I am female, so all my identity records, my racing license, my medical records all say female, right? And I'm pretty sure I'm made of biological stuff, so I'm a biological female as well.
No.
So this question of, do trans women have an advantage over cis women? We don't know.
I'm so sick of the insanity, for real. So we're fragile, weak. What was it that he said? Fragile, weak, something, cis women. Yeah, we're fragile and weak, you guys.
And
I'm sorry, fragile, weak, white, cis women. We're fragile. I'm the fragile one. He's the one wearing a costume. But I'm the fragile one. Seriously.
I love that he said that because it says female on his driver's license, then he's female. And I also love that he said because he's made of biological stuff, he's female. Squirrels are made of biological stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, I did some digging into this part. It's Veronica Ivy is what they go by. And
is it the cyclist? Is this the cyclist person? Who is this? Who is this person? Track. Okay, this is the track person.
He won he won some world track competition for like his particular age group.
Right.
And I don't even know
because he couldn't compete as a dude because he sucked as a dude. So then he got into women's sports so he could actually start winning some shit. Is that what he did? This is what all these dudes do. Yeah.
But I think a good analogy for how trans women or women argument falls apart. I want to run this past you guys. I put this out on Twitter, so if you want to go to it there, I'm going to just show you. I'm going to tell you what I put on Twitter. And I don't want anybody who is an adoptive parent to misunderstand my point. I love adoptive parents, okay? Just know that before I say what I'm about to say. But here's what I said. Trans women are women in the same way that adoptive parents are parents. So adoptive parents live and operate in the world as genuine, loving, true mothers and fathers to their adopted kids. They love them, they nurture them as much as any biological parent loves and nurtures their kids. And it's beautiful, right? That's a great thing. But no matter how much legal paperwork they file, no matter how much they might want or wish to be their kid's biological parent, they aren't, and they won't ever be. So it doesn't make them less than, just like a trans woman is no less human than any other human. But it just simply makes them not biological parents. That's it. And so I feel like the same is true with trans women. Veronica, that person, contending that because he has a license that says female means he's female is batshit. Adoptive parents have legal parental rights on paper too, but it still doesn't make them scientifically biological parents, right?
I mean,
is that a good analogy? Because I feel like that works.
It's an okay analogy, but adoptive parents aren't batshit.
Well, that goes without saying.
And you're being very kind. And I appreciate your kindness, but I'm sick of being kind with these people. Because when I'm called weak and fragile, and it's in an attempt to try to validate this person's existence because he knows he's not a woman or he's crazy and he's trying to prove that he's a woman. And so he calls me weak and fragile. It's on like Donkey Kong. You don't get to do that. You don't get to come into my girl's sport and trample all over her. You don't get to call me weak and fragile because let me tell you, I've got experiences a mile long that are women related that you will never experience in your lifetime, dude. So, and I'm sure a lot of women here have the same experience in their life. Woman only experiences that he will never experience. Like, go have an endometrial biopsy, dude. Like, have a C-section. Like, all that we could go. I mean, literally labor. we could seriously list a gajillion things that this jackhole will never experience. Don't tell me that I'm weak or fragile, because that's what they're starting to do. They're starting to say, well, these women these cis women, I'm not a cis woman, I'm a woman. These cis women are just weak and fragile and they can't handle it, that we're now in their space. No. I am so sick and tired of this bullshit. I'm sick of it.
I get it. I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. I'm saying to argue his point, that is the analogy that I think works, because him saying it's on paper that I'm female makes no sense. It is the same as an adoptive parent just on paper saying that they're a parent. They are, right? He's living as a woman, but it doesn't make him biologically a woman.
I get
There's
it.
a difference.
I totally get it. But at the same time, I think that the argument can be, you need to go seek help. And we stopped.
Noah would never say that, though. He was such a little bitch during that entire interview.
Of course he wouldn't say it. And a lot of people are unwilling to say that right now. And that's why we're in the mess that we're in, is that people are just unwilling to look at these people and say, you're crazy. Go seek help.
He's afraid of his audience. He doesn't want to deal with their wrath.
And women, yes, David, women need to stand up against this. I'm so sick and tired of women kowtowing to these people. Stop doing it.
I am not legitimizing them in any way, shape, or form.
She's trying to come up with an argument that is a rational argument. And I understand what you're saying.
I'm also saying for those people who are like, let people live however they want. I'm not denying trans women their right to live however they want to, even if they're playing woman. That's their choice. But when they start trying to tell the world that they are women, that is a hard no. And there are reasons why that you made very clear.
And listen, up to about, I don't know, I would say about a year ago, I didn't have a problem with this. I was like, fine, you lived your life. I'll live my life. I'm very libertarian in that respect. Whatever. You do you, I'll do me, and leave me alone. All right. And then leave my kids alone. But when they started trampling sports, when they started coming into our spaces, when they started trying to erase us, that's when I'm like, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do it. And now I'm pissed.
You go wear your dress in your own space. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is ours and it's different.
Right.
Period.
Right.
God. Anyway, that person is psycho. And
psycho completely. So I'm tired of it, y'all. We've got to start pushing back. It's getting, because this is what they're doing. They're validating the crazy.
It is so crazy.
I will not validate it. I have girls.
I tagged Trevor Noah because he should be ashamed of himself for being that much of a biatch.
Right.
Like, so he's the one that's weak. If there's anybody Veronica should be calling weak, it's freaking Trevor Noah for not giving that person the slightest bit of pushback. Was ridiculous.
And a platform.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a platform to begin with. It's insanity.
Bo Mama 8. Thank you. Bo Mama 8 says, running outdoor for work, but wanted to ask if y'all have seen or heard what Ashton Kutcher is being accused of. I feel he's being attacked because of his association with child trafficking organizations. I have not seen what he's been attacked.
Is it the Danny Masterson? So like his friend was put in jail for rape.
Oh, because him and Mila put out a statement.
They did, like defending him or something. I don't know enough about that to have a comment about it. I just know, but I do know that he is involved in, like for years, he's been involved in the whole sex, not in the bad side of sex trafficking, but in the trying, he's been doing like what Tim, what's his name, has been doing. He's been trying to help those kids, which is kind of an anomaly in Hollywood, don't you think?
Well, and I saw I saw some headlines where people were digging up old clips of him, like saying super sexist stuff or whatever. And I'm like, he was in his 20s. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And what does that have to do with helping to save kids?
I don't know. People are,
I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Alexandra, thank you. She says and then she lists out like a bajillion figures, reasons why when I have kids, I will be homeschooling them. Good for you. Because it's really the only way.
Yeah.
Don Quixote, I love your name. Thank you. Says that What is an Abortion Lady was featured on Matt Walsh. She is a new writer for Paw Patrol and works for Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think I saw that. I knew about the Paw Patrol thing, but I didn't. Yeah, that's.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So this is the thing. This is why you have to like watch everything that because it just creeps in there. It is all insidious. They're trying to get your kids, man.
Yeah.
Little kids.
Danae B says, and thank you. She says, as a bi woman, I am appalled by the trans evilness infiltrating and ruining my community and what we stand for. Leave the kids alone. Amen to that, sister.
A lot of gay people feel that way. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Curio 23, thank you, says trans women would switch back after they had their first period. That's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon Pope, thank you. Shannon says she'll be fragile too when she gets kicked in the balls. And Shelly, thank you. Shelly says, no matter how much he wants to identify as a woman, he will still need a prostate exam when he turns 40. Thank you.
It's a great point. That is a great point. Mm-hmm.
Another great point is that you should be going to mypillow.com/chicks immediately to get your 50% off the 6-piece towel set, which is now just $39.99. It's normally double that. So go use code chicks at mypillow.com/chicks and get that 50% off deal, or just use that code to get discounts on any product that you might need from mypillow.com/chicks. I got some good ones for you. We're going to start off with a dad joke that absolutely had me in stitches. There
I love
are
it.
two,
Yay.
but the first one is my favorite. And go.
I accidentally took my cat's meds last night. Don't ask me how.
Nice. I've never heard that. I'm incredibly surprised.
She almost lost
when
it.
the stationery store moved.
Why is that?
Oh my God, I get it. Stationary. And they even spelled, I love how they spelled it correctly in the caption. You know, they could have spelled it with an E, but they didn't. And
I love that so
I
much.
respect them for that. I see Rodney Norman. I love him.
We'll get to him.
Okay.
But first we have to get to a naked cat fight because this
Of
is
course.
horrifying in every single solitary way.
Oh my God, I love them. I want one, you guys. I want a naked cat.
Listen to the slaps.
You guys have no idea how much I want one of those.
Why?
I just
You
do.
can't pet them.
Yeah, I could. I'd put probably, like, I don't usually dress my animal. God, I love that. I would watch that all day.
But the other cat is just like, I'm just tentatively gonna hit you. I don't know.
I would
if
do
I'm
like
gonna
a
hit you.
Howard Cosell narration of their fights every day. I'd be like, and in this corner.
I want Rockstar to narrate this.
Oh my God. It's just so fantastic.
God, that is some slaps, man.
I love it. I want one. I don't know where. I know I'm not a cat person either, Jennifer, and I want one of them too. I think that's why, is that they're so uncat-like. They're
It's
just
a
like
naked
nothing.
cat.
C Bob said, shave a normal cat. Yeah, good luck with that, right? Oh my
Ooh, Ginger
God.
says they have an odor. That they are stinky.
Well, I heard that you have to wash them. I've actually looked into them. It's a Sphinx. They're very special, and you have to wash them a certain amount.
Oh my God.
Like it's like a big. They're maintenance. They are higher maintenance, and they're
Why would you want
They are
that?
expensive. Well, I mean, listen. Everything in my life is pretty high maintenance. It's like I don't have a lot of free time. Okay, it's like so. So why not add like a really high maintenance cat to the mix? Why not?
Oh my God. No,
You think Tracy thinks they're fugly? I think
They are
kinda-
disgusting.
I
I'm
think they're-
sorry to anybody who has one, but gross.
I think they're kind of cute.
No.
Okay.
I know everyone has gone through this. Child-proof wrapping and child-proof literally anything is just the most aggravating thing, especially when you're dying to get into like a pill that you really need to take. So this person speaks for all of us. Obviously, hide your kids, hide your wives. There's some serious aggravation in this, but I know a lot of us can relate.
Bro, what is this shit? Why the fuck do you make shit like this? I'm
so
trying
irritating.
to take a fucking Imodium because I have fucking diarrhea. And my God! My God!
It is so bad. It's so bad.
If you're a micromillimeter off the fucking perforation, it is titanium! It is made out of carbon fiber!
It's so true. I have to take scissors to those.
Oh,
I have to just, I can't deal with any of that packaging. I just go, I'm good taking the scissors. Yeah.
This tiny tot is very, very clever and has big thoughts, big thoughts that need to be shared with the world.
Kinsley, what did you just say?
Did you ever notice that fingers have fingertips, but toes don't have toe tips? But you can tip toe, but not tip finger.
That's some
Right?
like profound stuff right there. Yeah.
I know. I was like, oh my gosh, she really had me thinking.
Yeah, it's true. That's so interesting.
That was kind of amazing.
Mhm.
Okay, I know you love this guy, so we're going to get to your guy because I think we're going to finish off heading into the weekend with some words of inspiration and motivation.
I love him.
Some very affirmative, positive energy to take us into the weekend, and we'll start with him.
Some days are just crap.
Yeah.
It's just full of a bunch of just stupid nonsense, stupid crap. And that's okay. Because even if your day is crap, you're going to be okay.
It's true.
Plus, the crappy days make the really good days even better. So just remember, next time you're having a crappy day, don't worry about it. It'll be over. And then someday you'll have a really good day and you'll go, hey, this is a really good day. If they're all really good, then none of them are good. So you got to have some bad ones to just sort of even things out.
Yeah.
So have a super freaking awesome crappy day. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. If you guys are not following Ronnie Norman, you have to. He's another treasure. He really is. I love him.
And then lastly, I love this woman, and she, oh my gosh, she is inspiring, you guys. I think you're going to leave into the weekend. You're going to be inspired by her. This is contagious inspiration right here.
Fix your face. Let me tell you something. You can and you will be amazing today. You can and you will be successful today. You can and you will be phenomenal today. Now go out there and be great in their face. Fix your face and know that you are everything and everything is you. You will not let anybody ruin your day today.
Oh my God, I love
Now go
her.
be fabulous, honey. And you have a good day on purpose, huh? You're welcome.
I love her so much. Oh, I love her. I absolutely love her. Fix your face.
Fix your face, honey.
I mean, what if sometimes we can't?
Lisa, she gives her anxiety.
She gives you anxiety.
I don't have anxiety. She's like just telling you to have a great, awesome,
Yeah. Melissa's like, I can't and I won't fix my face. I know I can't do much about what's happening here today. It's Friday, you guys. I can't. Okay, I got to get Astrid again. Say something. I'll get her. Hold on.
For sure. Get Astrid. Fix your face. Oh, you know what? I closed it, you guys, so I don't know. I'll look and see who she is.
Astrid!
Hang on. I'll find her. That was
You gonna flop? You gonna flop?
Alethea Crimmins. Alethea Crimmins is who that was.
Mwah! You gotta flap. You gotta flap. You gotta flap. You gotta flap. Oh, it was a little baby flap. It was a baby flap. You guys, I know not to bring the house down or anything, but we're spreading Cash's ashes in the pasture today. So I know. It's like, I know it's going to be like a emotion fest, but we're doing that. I just want to let everybody, because people will ask. And so I just wanted to let everybody know that we're doing that. And again, I just wanted to thank everybody because I'm still getting like emails and letters and cards and stuff like that. So I love you guys. Thank you for all that this week. It was kind of a weird week. It's been a weird week without him. And she's digging to China. So
I love her. Look at her go, man.
This is my life, you guys. This is my life. But anyways, I just wanted to say thank you again to everybody because it's been a weird month. It's been a weird birthday month. I'm just hoping like October will just be better. That's what I'm hoping. So anyways, love you guys. And we hope you have a wonderful weekend. And we'll talk to you on I'm gonna breathe into the microphone. It's a little ASMR. We'll talk to you guys on Monday.